Thank you very much. In less than an hour, Secretary of State Marco Rubio will testify before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He's testifying about Iran. It will be his first appearance since the war started in February. Montana Senator Steve Daines joins me now. He's on the committee, by the way. Will you ask Rubio about the president's continuing optimism?
Well, first of all, one of the best decisions President Trump made was to appoint Marco Rubio as the Secretary of State. I think he's one of the best secretaries we've had in our nation's history. And Marco Rubio is not afraid to wade in to solve some of the toughest problems the world faces. And certainly what's happening right now in Iran is one of those. President Trump and Marco Rubio are working to end a 47-year war that Iran has waged against the United States and the Western world. Let's not forget the primary destabilizing forces surrounding Israel and affecting the West are Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis, all funded by this Iranian regime. Hezbollah, $1 billion a year. Hamas, over $100 million a year. The Houthis, millions of dollars a year. And they are all proxies of this Iranian regime. Imagine a world, Stuart, we could wake up to where the regime is changed in Iran because the people of Iran rise up and change it, and Iran that seeks peace, that wants to sign the Abraham Accords. It would be an absolute game changer for the Middle East. And I'm proud of President Trump and Secretary Rubio, who are working hard to solve perhaps one of the toughest problems we face on the planet.
One more, Senator. Retired four-star General Jack Keane, he's been on the program. He says the Iranians are playing games. Watch this.
The Iranians are playing a game here with us. They want to stretch this out as close to the midterms as they possibly can, believing that if they do so, it's less likely or not likely at all that the president would ever trigger military operations that close to the political event. That's likely a miscalculation, and because they don't know who Trump is.
Senator, it seems like the Iranians are winning by playing for time.
Well, the Iranians aren't winning. We are winning at the moment. But I would agree with the general in that they want to buy time. There's only one thing the Iranians, the Iranian regime, I should say, respects, and that is strength. It is peace through strength. This is why you don't want to stare down President Trump in America, because you're going to lose that stare down. And it's because of the incredible operation we've already accomplished with our U.S. military that's brought Iran to the negotiating table. But we need to finish the job. We need to get this done. And once this happens, you're going to see oil prices decline dramatically, just like we saw after the Ukraine invasion there by the Russians.
When you say finish the job, what is that job? Opening the Straits of Hormuz?
It'd be opening the Straits of Hormuz and a complete surrender by this regime.
So that would finish the job. You think we can get, how long will it take to get there?
Well, that's something that President Trump and Secretary Rubio are working on hard. I know they both want to see this finished as quickly as possible. So do the American people. We want to see this job finished as quickly as possible. President Trump sees that. I know he's working virtually 24/7 to solve perhaps one of the toughest problems on the planet.
Got it. Senator Steve Daines, thanks so much for joining us, sir. We appreciate it. We'll see you later.
Thank you.